All right, I think we lost internet on the last one. I think we should be back here now. That is real poor timing. Um, if anybody is watching right now, send this around. I think we're good, and I think we figured this one out, so we should be back and up and running here on the post game, breaking this one down here. Leafs, Avs, game 52 on the season. A lot of Leafs fans here still in the chat, still figuring things out. Obviously, for those who are in Toronto or in the Ontario area, you're well aware that this Leafs team, or this city right now, has some snow and storm issues, which I believe is causing us some problems here on the streaming of the channel and of the show. So that is a potential issue here as of right now that we'll be dealing with. I apologize to everybody. I apologize to those who are watching and wondering what the hell is going on. Yes, we have some internet problems here in Toronto. So working through that, but thanks to everyone who's watching right now. I'll see if I can get the callers back up and running here. I know that there was a bunch of people who were waiting to call into this one. I will open up the call lines here yet again to people. I know a lot of people were frustrated, and if Ryan wants to call back in, he's more than welcome to give his thoughts. Yes, it is... Philip Vespa, this idiot. Hardcore censorship writes. I was agreeing with everything Ryan was saying, but yes, it's censorship. Internet issues. We are back. We are back. I don't know if people are just not looking outside, but there's like tons of snow everywhere. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now in Toronto. All right, we'll keep rattling off some callers here. Ryan is back in, it looks like. Ryan, do I got you?
Yeah, buddy. I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah, no, sorry. I don't know if you heard me say, but I just lost internet completely, so I was off the grid for a
Oh,
moment.
no problem. Me and the boys stayed in the call and just had a wonderful chat in the meantime. It was sick.
Okay,
But
okay, cool.
just like I just started watching the show really after like the New Jersey game. So like I'm tired of being hurt by the Leafs. So I didn't want to watch any games this year. I found out that Willie wasn't playing, Matthews wasn't playing. I'm like, thank Jesus, let's throw it on the TV, boys. And then they go on a heater, they pull me back in, and I'm broken again. But this has been the best part of getting back into it, man. This show, it's fun to hear like all the fans, and you're great too, buddy. So thanks for
Thank
letting
you,
me on.
appreciate
Have a
that.
great day, pal.
Thank you, Ryan. You too. And I hope to hear from you again soon because this was a pretty fucking electric call. So thank you to Ryan for the call here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe in the storm. It seems like other people aren't dealing with this the same way I am right now, but it is what it is. Thank you to Ryan for the call. Let's go to our next caller here on the line, Zoom user. I don't know who this is. We have other calls lined up here, but Zoom user, who do we got on the line right now?
It might be me, Zach. Mark.
Mark, what's up? Mark from Oshawa on the line. How you doing, Mark?
Not bad. How are you? I don't know why it shows up that way now.
It's all good. Is what it is. How are you doing? How are you feeling after this one?
I honestly, when it went down 2-0, I thought I was here with the granddaughter. I said that was pretty much it for the Leafs. But I thought the second period was great. I mean, well, not great. I mean, I thought they had more effort, but I know everybody, or maybe yourself in the chat, was saying Wall played a bad game. But in my opinion, I didn't think he played that bad. I mean, if he didn't play as well as he did, it could have been 5-0 midway through the second period.
Yeah, I mean, the first period, the Avs put up, what was it, 18 shots or 17 shots by the end of the first period. Like, the Leafs were just under siege the entire time, but that goes for everybody involved. I thought struggled, and honestly, like, I'm not trying to say Joseph Woll had a bad game. He faced a ton of shots, and he faced some high-danger chances. All I'm saying is there's a couple that I think he would have liked back. The Brock Nelson one to open the scoring, I don't think he's going to love. It's a tough one, but I don't think he's going to love. Goes over the pad, under the glove, not really like the most difficult save of all time to have. lets that one through. The Drury one I thought was tough as well. I know that Mike in Buffalo pointed out, yeah, there were some in-close tough shots. I agree with that. I'm not like are disagreeing with that. I just think, hey, if your goaltender is absolutely dialed on some of these, those are ones that he could have and will look back at and say, hey, that's a mistake by me. That's a moment. That's an opportunity in the game that I let it get away from me. And, you said 2-0. I felt like once Colorado took the lead, that was game. The Leafs had some jump to them, but I didn't think that they looked as good as they needed to if they were going to walk away with a win against Colorado today. And then that goal goes in and it's like, well, I think that's it. The fans in that arena, it was dead quiet in there. The way that the guys were playing lacked energy. It lacked any kind of emotion or physicality. Like it was missing. It was all missing from this group tonight. And then to just see that goal go in where it's like he could have had it, maybe should have had it. That's when it's like, I think that this thing is over.
Well, I felt honestly in the second period, I was telling the granddaughter Leah that for maybe 10 minutes, give or take in a second, I felt that from what I saw, Colorado had a hard time getting through the neutral zone into our end. Like they would get there and then we would stop them. But I was going to say, I don't know if anybody else notices in the chat that a lot of the time when the Leafs come out of their end, they'll come up to the blue line with the puck and then dump it back to a guy. You've already got it up to the blue line. Like, why don't you just keep going and try and go left or right instead of fucking back?
Dude, they do a lot of dumb shit. I don't... Going up the ice, I don't really have a problem with regrouping it, sending it back across, and then trying to work it in on 5-on-5. I think it's much better for them to do, than just dumping it in and constantly turning it over. Playing with possession is obviously where you'd rather be or what you'd rather have them doing than just chipping it in and saying fuck it and getting rid of the puck. But on the power play, the drop back, like it's killer. The zone entries, they really struggle with. They really struggle getting in with possession and starting or setting anything up at all.
Two more quick points and I'll go there. The one I heard you say about Berube, if you're going to retool that you'd like to see, or your opinion, Berube and Tree Living go. I'm all for Tree Living gone, but Berube and his defense, he doesn't have the players. He doesn't have the players to build the team that he wants. Like he doesn't have enough, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the guys that he needs on the team to do what he wants to install into the system. So you were right partly that he's had to kind of bend and go halfway, and the players have kind of met him halfway. But a lot of the blame I would say would be on Tree Living more than Berube. But if you were going to retool, I'd wipe out Tree Living. I would still keep Berube and then move a few pieces out.
Wait, you would keep Berube still?
Yes, but I would retool and I'd.
Why would you keep Berube? Why would you keep Berube? Yeah.
Well, for one, I think he's a good coach, but last year I thought they.
I would not keep him. I would not keep him. If you're starting this thing fresh, you start fresh with everybody. Also, Mark, like I disagree with you on some of the stuff. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad that Berube changed what he's been doing. I'm glad they changed the style of play that they had earlier on. To be clear with people, I don't have a problem with Berube and Berube's style of hockey, despite some people here and hating his guts in terms of how he wants his teams to play and stuff. I don't. What I have a problem with is that it took him so long to make any type of adjustment in terms of how the team was going to play, which that is frustrating. It took 35 games into the season. It took until December 23rd for them to finally start playing with possession, start playing some faster pace hockey, getting up and down the ice, carrying the puck. It took a way too long for them to start doing that. That's frustrating in itself. And then the other thing is in-game management. He just doesn't have the ability. You see at times not playing the guys he needs to for as long as they should be playing. You see a failure to adjust and realize, hey, this guy's going, this guy's not, that guy should play more tonight. Instead, it's a loyalty to his guys. Phil Myers is not an NHL defenseman, and yet he still finds his way into the lineup. Calle Yarncroke being above a Jacob Quillen until this game tonight. I can't understand that. Taking as long as it did to move Scott Lawton into a top 6 role when you know some of these guys are hurting. Even tonight, moving McMahon out of the first line, who I thought looked really good, moving Lawton into the second line, moving Michelli down. Like, you just moved all these guys, which I don't have a problem with changing shit, because this keeping things the same obviously had gone stagnant and was not working. So hey, let's get some life into this. But I just wouldn't have moved some of these guys into some of these spots that they ended up in the lineup tonight. I wouldn't have done that myself. And then, I mean, putting certain players out there at certain times, or failing to put certain players out there at certain times, is just unbelievable, like mind-boggling shit from the coaching staff. So I would not keep him here, Mark. No, I would not.
That's fine. I agree with your point. But if you're going to get rid of a Berube, then you got to keep like 4 or 5 players, and you got to wipe it. Basically do clean house with everybody. And my last point would be, I think if the Leafs lose Tuesday against Buffalo, before the Olympic break, obviously, then you start to retool and you decide what you're going to keep, what you're going to get rid of. Because if you lose there, I don't see a chance in hell how you make the playoffs. But that was my final thought. But thank you, and we're getting lots of snow here in Oshawa.
Yeah, it's lots of snow everywhere. I've said that, look, I lost because we're in a storm here right now. It's unfortunate. We had like 600 people watching, people piling in with likes and calls and everything. So if everybody's here right now, hits that like button, subscribes to the channel, we'll keep going here throughout this. But yeah, I lost internet and lost connection to that other stream. So we are up here, up and running right now, breaking everything down on the post game. Mark, thanks for the call. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you. Take care.
All right, there you go. There's Mark from Oshawa. We got more callers to get to who are all lined up, so I want to make sure that we hear from everybody tonight. Just keep liking the stream, keep subscribing to the channel. I think there was tons of likes on the other one. Unfortunately, did lose that stream. I know people were saying, oh, it's just windy. Donnie does dishes. It's just windy. I don't know how you lose the stream. Well, Donnie, there's feet of snow outside my window, and I can't see 10 feet in front of me. So I'm sure at times it makes the Wi-Fi difficult. Not sure if you're just new to weather and internet, but yeah, typically that's how that ends up going, Donald. Next caller here on the line. Let's go to Andy. Andy, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Not great, Andy. Not great.
Oh, I agree. This is my first time calling in. I've been watching your show for a while. I will admit that after games like this, it is nice to come and, have the misery of others around me. Makes me feel a bit better about myself.
Misery loves company. Misery loves company. I think that's what does it for me too. It's like therapy here.
Oh, for sure it is. After these post-game shows, I'm like, okay, now I've calmed down a little bit. I can get on with my day. So I appreciate you do this every game. I do. I try and watch every time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Andy.
So I didn't watch the game today, but I was just keeping track on Twitter, and I think I agree with you. I saw the score and it was 2-0, and I'm like, well, this game's over. I knew they wouldn't come back to win. I have a thought about. I agree with you about Stolar starting against Vegas. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? My only thought about that is, and I could be way off. Is it let's put Stolars in? Maybe this will kind of light a fire underneath these guys because he hasn't played for a while, and they'll want to play up in front of him. But at the same time, if that's what we have to do to get these guys going, we have a whole nother issue ahead of us here.
Yeah. The Stolars thing I couldn't believe. We've talked about that over and over. I couldn't believe that. I thought if there was anything, today would have been the day to do it. Obviously you don't want to just say, hey, there's a throwaway game or whatever, but I couldn't believe that one. And then the fact that just these guys don't have it in them to get up and get going themselves and need the spark to wake something up within them is also an infuriating thing. And I can never understand, Andy, I can't grasp it myself, how this group struggles so hard to start on time. Like, this is a Babcock situation. He talked about this when he was here. How many times? Start on time, start on time, start on time. We all got sick of it. And then here we are 10 years later, and it's like, holy shit, the guy was right. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Why do you need external factors to get yourself into a better spot? Why can't you just wake up and get things going on your own? I can't understand that. And to your point, it is a bigger issue.
Yeah, it's been frustrating. I remember, so I'm turning 40 this year. I've been watching Leafs for about 35 years. Last year after that Florida loss, so throughout the years I've gathered lots of Leaf stuff. After that Florida loss, I basically grabbed a lot of it. I chucked it on my floor, and I told my wife, said, I don't fucking want this shit anymore. Get rid of it. I was done with this team. And then this offseason, I liked what they did. I thought, okay, they've done some good stuff here. So I'm like, okay, I'll be invested again. I'll watch some more. And then, well, this season's just been the way it is, and I'm wondering if I made the right choice here.
My girlfriend said to me after the game today, maybe it's time you cheer for a new team. I said, I don't think so. I don't think that's possible. But yeah, you're right. Maybe it's time to stop being so emotionally invested in this one. Andy, I will say the one thing I think about this, and maybe this is a positive spin on it, but if you can get any type of clarity from the group on what the plan is throughout the rest of this season, or with the end of Matthews' contract and Nylander's term here, I think that would probably help Leafs fans if they can come out in the Olympic break and say, okay, yeah, we're going to retool and come back at it next year. I think Leafs fans as a whole will take a breath. But if the plan is just, hey, we rely on it, we believe in these guys and we can do it, and we're going to rely on some trades, it's going to make people's heads explode.
I'm so sick of the press conferences like, oh, we believe in this group and this guy starts in the room, and I trust this guy. It's like, fuck, this hasn't worked for so many years. Stop thinking that it's going to fix itself. So irritating already.
Yeah, and it's like, unfortunately, what you've had here is it took way too long for this team to get going. I think the way they're playing right now, so here's what it is. In my opinion, at least, Andy, you tell me if you disagree. In general, the way they're playing right now is good enough to be an average team. A team that makes the playoffs, is ahead of Boston, is ahead of Buffalo, and into a decent, comfortable spot for at least one of the wild card spots. I think that they do that no problem if they start, or if they play all season the way that they're playing right now. And I know people are going to look at that and say, what the fuck are you talking about? They just lost 4 in a row. What I'm going to say is, you extrapolate the play out to the beginning of the season when they were playing a significantly weaker schedule. You pick up some points along the way that you dropped because you were playing like such dog shit. You lost some of those games because you were playing so atrociously. If you play at least the way that you're playing right now, you pick up more points and you're into a playoff spot. Like, the reality is, they're at least close enough to the playoffs as of right now that if they had done what they've been done since December 23rd until right now, you're probably into a playoff spot. The problem is, we're so much harsher on this team, as we should be as a fan base, because they stunk the fucking joint out for the beginning of the season. They put themselves into a position where they had such a hill to climb and get a hole to get out of that it's got to be that much better every single night these guys play, and I don't think the team has that in them. I don't think that they can play how they did from December 23rd until the Colorado game every single night, and that's the problem that we end up at. And is that good enough to make the playoffs, or is that good enough to come within 1 to 2 points and striking distance of a playoff spot? Probably closer to becoming a team that just misses out rather than a team that gets themselves in. And I think that's where you end up coming into scary territory with the coach, with the GM and the organization here saying, well, we're close, so we can get our way in. Well, we're close, so if we make a trade and we add somebody, we can get in. And I don't think that's the right approach, and that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm very worried about when we get up to the trade deadline, what kind of moves Trey Living's going to do if he thinks like, oh no, like again, if he goes back to like, oh, we trust this team, we can get in, we just, need to find our game, start on time, all that shit. He's going to make some trades where it's going to be like, well, that didn't work out, and now what do we have going into next season? You missed by a point. We're not in the playoffs now. We gave away some of the stuff, which, I mean, we don't have much to begin with. Now what do we have going into next season? And it's going to be the same shit next season again.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the problem. You do that, and you just keep trying and desperately trying to add and make changes and try to get yourself into a better spot to get out of these holes and to patchwork your way through things. Organizationally, you end up in a much worse spot, and you probably never even improve to the degree that you need to in the short term. You lose it in the short term. And that's what scares me, because the team isn't going to get good enough. Like, let's say you go out there and you get Dougie Hamilton, which is the guy that seems to be the most obvious one that could potentially fit here, especially as a piece that comes in, no Tana for the rest of the season, assume that, or a guy that is going to run your power play. Okay, that's the piece that you get, right? Hypothetically, does Dougie Hamilton get you into a playoff spot? The answer to me is no. What happens if his offense goes cold? He's basically Morgan Rielly. Now what? Now what have you done? Because you've gotten yourself marginally better, and you've traded some pieces to get him and traded some pieces to get the salary retained. And now what? Like, now where are you at? You're just in a bad spot.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to go off on Rielly as well, but other callers did, and you did too. So I'm not going to go into that. But I will say regarding him, I still remember the FNUF years of Toronto and where I was at with him at the end, where I was like, just get this guy out of here. That's where I'm at with Rielly now. And that overtime loss to the Islanders, that defensive play he made, I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, this guy has no business being here anymore. That was kind of the final straw for me with him, even though I'd kind of been done with him for a while already.
Yeah, dude, I mean, watching him every night, watching him play the minutes that he's playing, like, it gets pointed out. There's 4 straight losses here now, and looking at Morgan Rielly again in this one, okay, here's the offensive savior that we want to look at him as. 0 goals, 0 assists. He's even on the night, so good on him. He doesn't finish with a minus for the first time in a while. 5 shots on goal. He played 22 minutes, the most of any defenseman on the Maple Leafs in this one. How many of those shots would you say, Andy, and I'm not saying this because I have the answer, but how many of those shots would you say of Morgan Rielly's 5 came with a little floater from the blue line in which the goaltender just corralled it in his chest and shut it down? Because I would say it's probably 5.
Yeah, all of them for sure.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll let other callers get on here. I don't want to take too much time. I'll finish off with this. I had no idea they were selling Marner stuff at that Vegas game. What the hell are we doing? That is ridiculous. That immediately pissed me off. Like, again, tell me that you want. What do you care about more, winning or money?
Yeah,
right. That's basically, that's stupid. I did not know that, but that is ridiculous. That's what they thought was appropriate to do for a guy that, was a little baby until he left.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It is fucking pathetic.
Yep.
It's
That's
pathetic.
Ridiculous.
All right, Andy, thank you for the call here tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, enjoy. There you go. Andy on the postgame. Appreciate that call. Hope to have Andy here back on the postgame show sometime soon. Let's go to the next caller here. Let's go to Jamie Richardson. Jamie, what's up?
So they're just losing again, but I keep going back to the heart of this team. I mean, I've heard that they've been told, don't get too high or too low or anything. But I played hockey as a kid, and if we didn't win, I was upset, and I don't see any of the emotion.
Yeah.
You've seen games where they're down 3-0, 4-0 at the end or something, and it's like they start hiding, or it gets chippy, or there's an after the whistle drum. I don't see that. So how much passion is there?
I don't know either. I talked about it after the Vegas game, and it carries over to this one tonight. It's the same shit. Is how in the fuck can you just abandon the physical game? What they did during that stretch where they went on and rattled off win after win and points after point is merged together this brand of physicality and toughness and the team sticking up for each other with fast-paced hockey, with up-and-down hockey, with high tempo, high velocity, high offense, and they just married the two. They would stick up for each other. They would battle after whistles. They would get in scrums. They would finish every single check. They would hit everyone below the goal line. They won board battles. Like, they were strong on their stick, strong on the puck. Everything was physical, tough, hard, heavy to play against, which is what this team was designed to be. That's how they were supposed to play, was this brand that was in your face, finish everything, take away time and space, and then we have so much offensive ability, we can just ram it down your throats and make you pay for these mistakes. Not how they're playing right now. They are still this is where I say the way they're playing now is different than what they did early in the season, where early in the season, they just had zero ability to have any type of offensive game. They had zero pace to them. They had zero tempo, which they do now, which is why I say that if you were to take this game and take it to how they were playing at the beginning, they'd be in a better spot, just because how many of those games were they just like the slowest, most out-to-lunch team in the game? And it's not the case right now, where they can at least skate with teams, but they've just abandoned physicality, and they've abandoned any type of heaviness or checking game to them. And a lot of these idiots in the chat who strictly want to look at their stat sheets and their analytics after stuff, which, yes, it's part of the pie, but it's not the whole pie, despite what some of these people want to think, is like, oh, well, you're just talking about physicality. Yes, physicality goes more than just punching guys' lights out. Physicality can be finishing checks and closing out on guys on a forecheck and making sure that you step up on guys in the neutral zone and gap up and make transition play tough for the other team, as well as when you go into a forecheck or you dump the puck in, you're closing out on guys and taking away their time and space and making it harder for them to regroup and transition up the ice. This team has abandoned all of that. Offensively, they still play high pace, fast tempo. They want to get up the ice quickly and get chances. That's great. But what they lose the ability to do, or lose the interest in doing, is getting up there and actually playing with any effort that or intensity on the on the physical side of the game. It's just been abandoned, and now we're all sitting around looking, going, how did this happen? How are we losing games? Well, you're trying to play one style and losing the other, and some nights when you don't have the offensive side, you're gonna need to rely on the physicality to grit your way through stuff, get the ugly goal, get the unlucky goal, get the the non-skilled goal to be able to win a game, and they just don't have that. Think about the game against Minnesota. They had no pace, no tempo, no offensive upside to them in that one, but then just on the other side of the puck, like, there's no snuffing out anything Minnesota was doing. Everything they wanted to transition, they wanted to get up ice, they wanted to break out, they wanted to regroup. It was so easy for them to do all night long, and it's like, how can you just do that in a game and just shut it off? Why can you not do that? I can't understand why that physicality and that intensity on that side of the puck has just disappeared.
Yeah, and I don't think I trust the current GM or the coach if we're going to go forward. I mean, an interesting thing about management is if they make trades to undo what they did in the off season, it makes them look bad. Like, oh, I brought this guy in, but it didn't work, so I'll get him gone. Or I signed this guy and it didn't work. It comes down from the top, and that's why a huge change needs to happen.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about it coming down from the top, making people available. Matthews doesn't get to speak before or after the game against Vegas on Friday night. That's a joke. He's your captain. How the fuck do you let that go by, especially after the result you got that one? Not putting him out there in front of the cameras is a complete and utter joke by MLSE, by the Toronto Maple Leafs, to not put your captain in front of the cameras in a pathetic loss to the Vegas Golden Knights at home. Unbelievably fucking pathetic. And you look at just another game and the comments that were made by the comments that were made by the players on the ice, the comments that are made by the coaching, everybody involved. Just another game, just another game, just another game. That is the most just another game bullshit by MLSE that you could possibly have, and by the Toronto Maple Leafs you could possibly have. How the fuck is that the case? Oh, the captain doesn't speak after this one. It's a huge fucking game. You lost 3 in a row. That's one reason. And it's the Mitch Marner return game. That's another reason. Pathetic. How does that take place? And then just another game. Okay, no intensity, no physicality from these guys on the ice. No pushback when you got down early in that one. It took about 30 minutes into the game to fucking wake up there. That's pathetic. And then you're selling Marner jerseys in the stands. Just another game doesn't even begin to describe how pathetic these guys are from top down in this fucking organization. It is outrageous from this group as a whole.
I know. I mean, it's just, I heard a story from, I think it was Doug Gilmore had an interview, but they had lost a game bad. And I think it was Ballard who canceled their charter trip home. They had to get their own way home. He was pissed as the owner of the team. Now that may be going too far, but there's got to be I don't know. Yeah. It's got to come from, I say if they want to bring in a temporary coach, bring in Darcy Tucker. If he could coach half the way he played, he would light them on fire. I mean, he just had that passion.
I know. And I don't know if he's got the interest in that.
Yeah. Lawton has that passion, but it's not, it's got to be passed on through this whole team.
Yeah.
And then,
you can see it in Lawton. You could see the way he plays, the way he approaches the media. Everything about him is like never give up, fight to the end, always in it, always going, like keep the little things. Like he has that to him, and it's unbelievable to see. Here's one guy who's willing to say the things, do the things, play the way that we've all wanted as Leafs fans, and he just doesn't have that to him. And like the people who shit on Lawton, I mean, honestly, if you look at them and what they say about the player, and then who they are when away from their comments, the people who shit on Scott Lawton are 99.9% of the time the same people who put down in their fucking local surveys that they want no score clocks in minor hockey and they want hitting to go away. They're probably the same people who base their teams off of charts as well. So those people need to give their heads a shake, because what you see that guy do on and off the ice is something that this team has been missing for a long time, and something that real Leafs fans look at and actually enjoy and appreciate, because it's been something that this group just hasn't had in them or in that room for a long time. So that's a little bit ridiculous. But Jamie, anything else you got to say here, and then we'll let you go?
Well, they can find guys like that. I mean, how many times has a Toronto guy on an opposing team come in and had an awesome game because he's in Toronto? I mean, there's a lot of people that would love to put the jersey on that are in the NHL. I think there is. You can find guys. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call here tonight, Jamie. Appreciate it. We'll hear from you soon.
All right.
All right. Thank you. There you go. Jamie Richardson on the line. Next caller to get to as we continue to rattle this off. Let's go to Samurai. Our guy, Sam. What's up, Sam?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
It's been a while, Sam. It's been a while.
I've been popping into the chat after some of these last couple of games, just losing my mind. But yeah, we got a lot to unpack here, eh?
No fucking kidding. Whether it's the loss tonight, if it's this afternoon, if it's the 4 straight losses, if it is the coaching decisions, if it's Nylander giving fingers in the press box, if it's Matthews not speaking, there's a lot to go over on this postgame, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, the slogan for this segment could be no honor, pride, or courage. Because, man, what's happened? It's insanity.
Yeah. What's happened is, I think, who they have been for 10 years coming through to the top and not having just enough talent in general to get through a night-to-night basis to just skill your way through things, because unfortunately for the 16 defenders, this is who the team was when he was here as well. They just had enough talent in the roster and they had enough health to be able to get through things night in and night out. When you look at all the other aspects of the game and what else they were missing, you can see that these guys were when they got to the playoffs and they had to play a certain way, they just didn't have that in them. Now you can see it coming through where it's like, okay, you don't have Mitch here, who adds another piece to a power play or your 5-on-5 play. You don't have William Nylander in the lineup. You have John Tavares, who's a little bit older and suffering from the way that the schedule is condensed. You have Matthew Nyes, who's injured, and it's like, okay, those things are obviously not helpful, but the way that this thing has all been constructed, and on top of that, the way that it's being put out there, they're just being exposed for being an okay team with some high-end top talent. They are not really a team as a whole, and they are not a team that plays the right way collectively as a group to get you through things. And now you're also just having guys who are kind of just falling off a cliff. You know, Tanev's your best player. He can't even play. He's too injured right now. Jake McCabe really struggling for 10 straight games here now. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has been your best player for a long time here now. And like, no shade to OEL. I love what he's done, but like, why is he the best player? It's a mess.
Yeah, and he's been playing like how he's paid, you know? Like, he's overperformed, let's be honest. Like, for the pay, he's done better than I thought he would. And
yeah,
the rest of the defense, I mean, yeah, like, they're giving up the most shot attempts, you know. It's most shots begins and ends too, because like you know, you start watching the game and it's like right away it's heading down their end, they're getting hemmed in, there's like sometimes there's 3-4 guys behind their goal, you know, behind their net, and they're just like looking around like you get this guy, am I here, okay, and it's like, it's not conducive to winning at all. But like, it's also, the goaltending's been great too. Like, it's not on the goaltending, and I mean, like, there's just the one thing we can say like right now that we have and we could like use as a trade chip is all of our goalies, because Akhmatov in the AHL, I probably botched that name, so sorry Artur, but like he's an all-star in the AHL. You know, we keep on getting these guys that end up being all-star goalies in the AHL. So Hildeby, him, Wool, I mean, it's pretty good, you know. And then Stolarz, I mean, when he's in routine and he's, you know, playing consecutive games, I feel like when he's really, you know, more in the net and not just coming back, I feel like he's a better goalie. But like those are some good trade chips right there, you know. And if you got youth, like, you go with the youth, you know.
Yeah, in terms of trade chips for getting pieces back to help this team now, that's not at all where I would want to go. And I think that that's where you're kind of pointing out at the end there when you say that, like, bringing in youth and starting to kind of change the way that this thing looks and revamp it, I think is the much more the direction this team should be heading, rather than what they have done. Like, they've tried to add players with some type of pedigree or some type of career or anything under them to help get themselves into a better spot to win, to say, hey, we're going to help these guys. And unfortunately now I think you've gone beyond that point, and it's time for you to kind of refresh and then have your guys in Matthews and Nylander be like the forefront of it, and then kids underneath who can help out all the way around, so that you can figure things out moving forward and try to change your approach and your play style and the speed and all that kind of stuff. I do think a youth movement here would help for sure. I do think that bringing in younger, more skilled guys would help this group in the future moving forward. I don't think Berube is the guy to run it, because you look at Jacob Quillen here in this one tonight. He finally gets an opportunity to play over Calle Yarncroke, and he plays for 6 fucking minutes in this one. What did Jacob Quillen do?
He didn't even play 6 minutes. Let's be clear on that. He played like what, 5:30 something?
No, he played 6:15.
Okay,
I'm just looking at the box right now. Yeah.
That, but
no, he played 6:15 in this game. How can you play the guy for 6:15? What did he do here in this game tonight to earn 6 minutes and 15 seconds? Max Domi played 18 minutes and 7 seconds. I know that he scores the goal at the end of the game, but how many times did Max Domi get lost in his own zone? How many times did Max Domi force an extra pass in the offensive zone that got turned over or created a chance for Colorado going the other way? The one that I was like mind blown over is he gets the puck inside the blue line near the top of the circles. He's got an opportunity to shoot on an odd man, and instead he dumps the puck back to a defenseman who's not in the zone, and the Maple Leafs have to go back and regroup and take it out. Like, the amount of times this guy made stupid pass after stupid pass, and yet here you go, Max. First line, 18 minutes, you have yourself a night. Keep it going, keep getting out there. What in the fuck are you watching to make you think that this guy can go? Looking at how they've deployed everybody over the last little while, where Calle Yarncroke is getting 11 to 12 minutes a night, how are you not playing Jacob Quillen out there for at least 8, 9, 10 minutes? I'm not asking for the guy to play 20 plus, but there was nothing he did, in my opinion, that did not earn him more opportunities. Like, he took 2 defensive zone draws and he went 2 for 2. I think that was in the first period. He won both of those defensive zone draws. And the game progresses. Nope, Quillen, you're out. This is a team that can play fast-paced with speed. Jacob Quillen is a guy who can play fast-paced with speed. Nope, no opportunity for you. What in the fuck are you doing? How is that the case? I don't think these are the guys to be running this. I think these are guys who are trying to do win now, and I also want the team to win now, especially considering how tight your window is. If it's not closed already with Matthews' contract going with 2 minutes left, or 2 years left in his contract, but at the same time, you can retool this thing to not just have like older guys around you, older guys a part of your decor that just are struggling with the way that the schedule is going right now. Especially you're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle on this season right now. Let's move things forward and get yourself into a better position going into next year than where you're at right now, and that does not involve Craig Berube and Brad Treliving if the plan is to regroup and retool for next year.
Yeah, and I mean, the retool word, like, I struggle with that personally, because like, just the history of not even, like, we're excluding playoffs here with what I'm about to say. Big games, the Leafs do not show up, like, at all. They don't. They always drop the ball, and I'm talking explicitly regular season, only regular season. Forget playoffs, because we know they don't show up at all then. But in the regular season, the Leafs have lost. You ready for a nice list? Tavares' return to Long Island, Berube's return to St. Louis, Lorentz, Stolar's, and OEL's return to Florida, Michelli's return to Utah. I mean, that's not really, like, these are a little bit more minute, but
yeah, keep going.
Roy's return to Vegas, the most goals in Maple Leafs history, Tavares' 500th goal game, and then also Auston Matthews' first game where he scored 4 fucking goals and they couldn't win it. And then also JT's 1000th game. Like, absurdity, man. Absolutely absurd how they can't show up for the games that their fans want them to win the fucking most. How do they not want to win?
And not only that, it's not only just it's like, oh, they don't want to win or whatever, but like, how is it that it's this pathetic of performances in each of those games? Like, talk about, like, go through each of them. Michelli's return to Utah. Stinker beyond all stinkers. 6-1 loss in that one. Worst loss of the season in terms of deficit that they faced. Worst loss. Go to Go to the Tavares return, blown out in that one. Go to the Berube return to St. Louis, no effort, pretty sure blown out in that one. The Marner game in Vegas, blow a lead and lose that one. The Vegas game here stunk from the moment that they came into that game. Like, it's just constantly a failure to show up. It's not just a loss. It's not a hard-fought game and you lost in OT. Like, it's never that. It's always just this failure to show up. And whether it's just a bunch of guys who are nervous in that room or guys who just don't care or take way too much of that approach of it's just another game, I don't know. But it's always been like that. They just don't have it.
Yeah, and like there's no excuse for playing guys like Yarncroc the other night. I'm sorry, man. The guy's $2 million against your cap. Bury him in the minors. Do whatever you have to do. Just get rid of him. Don't waste the time of playing him. Give a guy like Quillen a shot. And about this before, they struggle to identify talent within their system. Even when a guy like Alex Steves last year puts up 36 fucking goals, how much more do they have to do? Villeneuve, he's put up 40 fucking points as a defenseman, 2-3 times in the AHL? He's played 200 games down there. Yeah. When are they going to get a chance? Or, can we just move them for somebody that will, play regularly for us then? Because they'll get a chance elsewhere, and they'll probably do fucking great, like we're seeing with Steves right now. I'm so fed up with this shit where it's every other team in the NHL uses their resources. They use their pool of players, prospects, whatever the fuck you name it, that they have, they use them. They deploy them all. If somebody's not working in your lineup, someone's a -10, -11, all right, I'm sorry, we're going to scratch you for 2-3 games. We really got to take a look at this guy, see if he's, you're really struggling right now on defense. We're just going to let you sit for a couple games. Or fucking Matthew Nyes, you're playing through an injury where you're talking to the media saying, oh, yeah, I'm really injured, and the only thing that helps this is rest, but, we're trying to manage it. It's well, first off, you're putting a target on your back. The other team listens, they got the TSN on in the room, so they know what the interview's about. Mm-hmm. And they're taking notes oh, okay, he has something nagging him. I guess we can target him, or I guess we can have a little bit easier lineup match against him. Man, don't play them. Just if they're struggling, if they're fucked up and hurt, don't play them. Use your depth. Give other guys an opportunity. That's the whole point of the sport, right? You want to have that chance in your. That's how you bring players in and have people want to play for your organization. Is the idea that, oh wow, okay, I wasn't great here, but maybe I can do something in Toronto, just anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's just they don't use these guys, and it's bewildering to me. I don't get it. I do not get it. It's stuff losers would do, and that's what they are.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with you, Sam, on anything that you just brought up. I completely understand the frustration, and I appreciate the call here. Any final point before we let you go?
That Nylander flipping off the camera stuff was pretty bush league. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if he had a friend down there or something. It seemed like he was just flipping off.
I think he was doing it to the camera. Yeah, I thought he was doing it to the camera, to be honest with you. All right, Sam. Thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, bud. Take care.
There you go. Samurai, our guy, here on the Postgame Show. Plenty more to get to here to break this one down tonight, but before we can move on, we did hit 50 likes, so keep liking the stream, subscribing here to the channel. Here are the smelling salts. That's for 50 likes. Let's go to our best bet here quickly before I keep going with more callers here on the post game, because I want to get to everybody. But our best bet segment is a presentation of Bet365. Use promo code NATION, NATION, code NATION, NATION. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. Our best bet tonight loses. That would be Matthew Nyes anytime goal at plus $250 on that one. Falls. I did say in the pregame, if I had to look anyway, I would probably look at Avs minus 1.5, and lo and behold, that one comes true. Unfortunately, wasn't a best bet, but should have been. Matthew Nyes does not score. I thought he actually looked pretty decent, knowing he's fighting through something, but I thought he looked okay. Didn't even get a shot on goal in this one, so that's a tough pill to swallow. If you are a Leafs fan, that puts us down 2 units here yet again on the season, and it feels like at this point we might just have to start betting on the other team because we're kind of back to where we were earlier on. Next call here on the line, Cajun. Am I saying that right, Cajun? Is that correct? Is that the proper way to say your name?
Yeah, that's good, man. How you doing?
Not great, Cajun. I wish that this team was not through here a stretch of losing 4 straight games and all of it being on home ice. That's really, really frustrating.
Yeah, so I've been hearing all the dialogue. I agree with the majority of it. So 2 things I wanted to just mention is, I know we say culture change. We need culture change with the players. I actually think we need a culture change in the organization, because the organization seems more intent on protecting itself. Because look at the narrative over the last 10 years. It's either been the fans are too hard, players don't want to come here. It's always fans against players. It's nothing about management. Look at good management, which is Vegas. If you're not good enough for them to win, they boot you. And people still want to come and sign there.
Yeah.
Right, so
yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's one of the culture changes and I think that means getting rid of Trey and Berube. And I know everyone's like, he's had injuries, but what do you expect when you sign a 36-year-old defenseman to play top minutes who's top 5 in blocking shots?
Look, that's a good point, Cajun. You talk about Vegas and people still wanting to go there. I think there's a few factors into this that also, it's to my point about the Rielly thing and how you have to be careful about doing this. Like, they get rid of people. They get rid of people who can be replaced by people who are better, or somebody that they are just at the end of the rope with. Okay, this guy's not going to work here anymore, despite if they're loved by that fan base or whatever, but they bring in somebody who is better. They go out there and they acquire better players. So the team is always in a competitive position and getting better. You can't just get guys out of here and fire guys off and remove them from this team and not bring in anything back, because that's when it makes people look at you and be like, well, you're just treating people poorly and you're not doing anything to bring back anything positive here in this organization and help us get closer to winning. You're just getting rid of Morgan Rielly for the sake of getting rid of Morgan Rielly, which I don't have a problem with as a fan if that's what they want to do. I'm just reminding people that that's something that can happen if you are somebody in that room where they look around and go, what the fuck? The thing in Vegas is that they're always competitive. So the guys look and say, damn, you got rid of Zach Whitecloud. That sucks. You see Keegan Colasar crying, literally crying. Like, I'm not making fun of him. He's literally crying. He's like, that's his best friend. That's his guy on that team. He gets traded. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be pissed at management because you brought back Rasmus fucking Anderson and your team got better. So if you're making trades to get your team better, that's where you're at. And that's why the people in that organization, in that team, or people around look at them and go, I would be happy to go there. I'd be happy to be a part of that, because they're trying to win and they want to win. It's ruthless. It's cutthroat, but they want to win and they're always pushing their chips in. Here, it's the same organizational shit. Oh, no, we're going to win with all these guys. We can't get rid of them. It's the same thing that people have a problem with here when it's like, you can't trade picks and prospects because, I love the guy in junior. Like Nick Robertson early on, he had some high value coming in here. Okay, what if you could have traded that piece for a guy who helps you out? A guy who's actually a good piece because he had such a high value. No, we can't trade my guy, Nicky Bobby. I loved watching him play junior hockey. Is your team going to get better from it? Is your team going to improve? Okay, why not make that trade? Now, again, it's the idea going into it, and would they have made a good, positive trade? Who the fuck knows? They've made a lot of shit trades here from one GM to the next. It's always just been mistake after mistake with all of these guys, but It's a good point. It's a good point that you bring up. Like, hey, why can't you trade pieces to get your team better? As of right now, I don't want them making any trades, Cajun. I genuinely don't. I want them to stay the fuck off the phones. I don't want the Leafs to talk about any GMs about doing anything. Don't do that. But I get what you're saying.
No, I agree. I didn't mean that we start right now. I just mean that we should transition into that kind of culture. And I guess the second point is, my concern is Matthews. Reason being is after the break, when he had the 3 days off, came back, he looked like prime Matthews again. He was a beast. He was carrying the line. But the conversation is always, we need to find a winger for Matthews. But a top line center should be carrying his line. So is it that is he injured so much that we should just shut him down? Because why further aggravating anything, and then it's the same thing next season, or it gets worse?
Well, I think that he's been a lot better now. I also think that he's carried McMahon and Domi over the last little while. He's driven his own line significantly, and you're watching a guy who's figuring out how to play on his own without anybody around him. I shared the same frustration or the same questions as you when things were going sideways early on and saying, hey, why can't you drive a line? He can. He clearly can. I think that you're seeing a guy who's picking up Max Domi and Bobby McMahon, who are middle to bottom sixers, and he's making them everyday first liners and making them look significantly better than they are because of his play. I think he's driving a lot. I think he's doing well in these games, even when they are losing. Prague in the chat is just absolutely out to fucking lunch, saying he isn't driving his own line. He is driving his own line right now. Before going into the game against Detroit on Wednesday, he had 11 goals in his last 12 games. He was dialed in, hasn't scored now in 3 straight. Detroit, Vegas, and then today against Colorado, but he still has looked really dangerous offensively, has created a lot of chances. Tonight, 7 shots on goal for him in 19 minutes and 42 seconds. He could have been better tonight. I'm not going to say that he played unreal. Like, he could have played a whole lot better, but I don't know. To say, I just disagree. I disagree that he needs another winger. I think he's okay. I think he's driving his own line, and it took him a while, but he's got it figured out, and he's doing well. Like, I just can't, I can't shit on him tonight here for in general. Like, Prague is talking about it's Max Domi driving his line. You are a fucking moron if that's the case. That's wrong.
I hear what you're saying, though. I guess the reason I'm saying that is just watching him in the games. It's either he doesn't like his wingers because he looks frustrated every time the puck's lost, or he's just gassed. They're overworking him way too much. Like, I think he needs a rest. And that 3 days off when he came back, oh my God, if we can have that for the next 5 games, we'll probably win every game.
Well, I think they all need a rest, which is the same for everybody in the NHL right now, but I think they all need a rest. This schedule is nuts. And this Leafs team is dealing with some bad luck, unfortunately, but it's not an excuse. That's the only problem, Ali, is like, Cajun, sorry, as everybody is dealing with this right now, where everybody is having injury issues, fatigue issues. Like, it's something everyone's got going on. You just got to fight through it and get yourself to this break and then come back better on the other side. And unfortunately, the Maple Leafs are struggling to handle that. And whether that's roster construction or what, they haven't figured it out.
Yeah, just hope the rest of the Atlantic gets that tired too, man, because the race is crazy.
No kidding. All right, Cajun, anything else for me here tonight?
No, that's it, man. Take care.
All right, thank you, Cajun. Appreciate the call. There you go. Let's go to next callers that we've got here on the line. Let's start with Habs Absolutely Hockey. I know people are going to be mad. Habs fan on the line, but
I'm sorry. I'm not here to disrespect. Hello?
No, I know. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you calling in. Otherwise I wouldn't have let you on. You're good.
How you doing?
Not great, Mr. Yeah. What do you want me to call you? Habs? You want me to call you Habs?
You can call me Habs. I was on here before.
Yes, that's right. All right. Yeah, I'm not doing great, Habs.
I'm sorry to hear that. So it sucks that your team lost tonight to a very good Avalanche team, because they were a pretty good team. They're struggling as well lately, But this is a team. This was a must-win for your Toronto Maple Leafs because you guys are trying to climb back into the playoffs, trying to be able to get back in the playoff spot. But losing games is not good whatsoever.
No.
There's some teams that you had to win against. Like there's some teams like Vegas. You want to beat Marner, of course, Marner's team. And then there's like, of course, like the Detroit game. Detroit game was a must win as well because they're a division team. So you need to win, you need to get points, and I agree exactly with what you mean whenever you said like, we have to beat these divisional teams because they're going to get points. Like they're getting points. You need these points.
Yeah.
And you got important games coming up. You got Buffalo that they're, of course, a division team. You got to beat them as well.
And in regulation.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some easy games coming. Like there's Vancouver, there's Flames. You got to win those games as well. Those are games that you have to win as well to get back into the playoffs. Like there's going to be games that like you guys are going to have to win. Like you guys are going to have to win majority of the games now remaining to get into playoffs.
Yep.
Majority. I know. I just don't know. Like big guys aren't showing up. Big guys aren't stepping up. It seems like. So.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with anything. You pretty much laid it out. That's exactly where you're at with this group right now. You look through from the performances you're getting from guys. Some guys have just kind of fallen off a cliff here a little bit. Some guys are obviously injured and banged up, and it's a struggle. You're getting bad coaching decisions. The roster, if everybody is healthy, I think is a good enough roster. But I think the problem is that when you get star players who go out of your lineup and miss significant amounts of time, you don't have enough talent throughout to be able to get yourself into a position where you can battle through for weeks on end. Like William Nylander came back after missing a long time, plays a couple of games, and then he's out back again, and now all of a sudden the rest of the team has to pick up that slack again. That's part of like where it's frustrating is if Nylander is playing, I think you're in a better spot because you've got a guy who can be scoring and can be producing and can help you out offensively. And yet, when he goes out of the lineup, you can get guys contributing and chipping in from game to game. But when it becomes a month that your third line and your fourth line have to be the guys who step up and fill that hole, then it becomes a problem. When Matthew Nyes is the guy playing your second line right wing, and he's got to be the guy who's like replacing William Nylander production, that's a problem. All healthy, yes, you're in a better spot. But it's just not an excuse. Like, your team, Montreal, they're dealing with injuries. They're still winning games. They're still in a playoff spot. Tampa Bay has unbelievable amounts of injuries. Still in a playoff spot. Still pushing through. I mean, look around the league. Colorado right now comes in here, whumps you today. Missing Landeskog. There's a huge piece that they're missing there. Obviously, they've battled through that for a couple of years. But still, again, like, it's a problem. It's a problem that these guys are dealing with. They just can't figure it out. I think it's coaching and management putting this together, and then the guys in the room just not having the right mentality.
I honestly think it's like the players just don't give a crap about what they're playing. I just think that they don't give the effort. They don't want to play. They don't want to win. I just think that like I think it's the culture. Honestly, I agree with that one person earlier that was saying that it's the culture, because I think it just needs to be fixed and all that. Like, I agree. Like Nylander is like one of the only players that like gives a crap about this team. Like he's a Leaf to my eyes. Like he's the type of guy that I could see like the Leafs keeping. He gives a crap about the team. He honestly gives a crap. He puts effort every night when he's playing, and like he's stepping up when the team needs him to step up. Like that's what you need in a Leaf player. Honestly, like you need players that are gonna like. I feel like what Toronto needs to do is that I think they need to go and like get and talk to the players and ask them like, hey, do you care about like winning games? Do you care about playing for this team? Like, if not, like sort that out. Shade them if they don't want to play for the team. But like, other than that,
I know, and unfortunately, I mean, you probably don't get any answers that you want that are like clear enough. But yeah, I mean, you want guys that want to be here. You want guys that have that heart, have that push, have that desire. Like, Scott Laughton is a guy who shows that to me as well.
Exactly.
But Habs,
Anyway.
I appreciate the call here tonight.
Of course.
I appreciate the fact you didn't call in just to troll or shitter on us.
I'm
or
not
anything
a
like
troll.
that.
I'm not a troll.
So thank you for the call. Good luck to you and your team the rest
Thank
of
you.
the way.
Good luck too. Good luck to you as well. Good luck.
Thank you, Habs. Appreciate
Have a
the
good day.
call.
Have a good day.
There you go.
Have a good
You
day.
too. Habs Absolutely Hockey here on the postgame show. Yeah, maybe if the Leafs can surpass them, he'll have to change his name to Leafs Absolutely Hockey. All right, with that, let's get to our next caller here on the line. He's fired up in the chat, and I see people saying they want him on the line, so let's get to him. So welcome to the postgame, Prague. What's up, Prague?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Not good, not happy. 4 straight losses for the Leafs. A terrible one here today against the Avalanche, and looks like playoff hopes are just dwindling away with every loss, so not good.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like. You may have noticed this, but I was never high about the win streak because we were getting kind of lucky. Outside of Ottinger, I'm not sure we played a number one goalie throughout that time. We played well. We were playing better, but that was despite what Berube wanted. Because Berube initially, if you looked at his post-game interviews in around Christmas, just after Christmas, he was like reluctant about it, right?
This is
The reffing again. Okay. Anyways, you didn't see it. That's fine. That's fine.
No,
We can
that's
disagree.
just
But
not what happened.
on
It's
video.
just not what happened.
It's on Maple Leafs video, but okay, that's fine. I'm lying. of
It's
course.
not. I watched them. It's not. He
Okay.
did not say
Go-
that.
go back.
You believe that this is not his style of hockey, and you believe that it's not good. So you think that he didn't want this and was going out being like, "Oh, we won these games tonight, but I fucking hated it." No, he didn't. He never was reluctant about any of that.
I'll find the video and I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
so instead of wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter, like one thing is, at this point, no matter what we do, okay. First of all, let's talk about the game. The refs, there were like 7 or 8 definite trips and hooks and penalties that weren't called, that were brutal.
Yeah.
Like not as brutal as if they were playing Florida, but like generally.
Yep,
But that's
I
just,
agree.
Like, and did you see like Quillen had a couple shifts in the first, and then like I think he had one shift in the third, and that shift in the third, they misattributed those 2 hits by Quillen in the ab zone to Lawton. Well, Lawton does it too, but like it was Quillen. He's number 26. But like, what's the point of having a development team? Why do we have the biggest development staff in the world for hockey? But all our development players, like, do you know Carter Verhaeghe? We traded him. We could have picked him up. He was willing to sign here after his first year with Tampa. He had 1 year with Tampa and then signed with Florida. I had arguments with another person online.
How do you know he was willing to sign here? How do you know he's willing to sign here? That's what I hate when you come on here and say this.
He stated it.
When? Where?
Okay, dude. Like, do I have to do your homework for you? Verhaeghe, 6'2". He was our 3rd round pick. Do I have to give you like? What do I have to tell you? Like, dude, these players. It's not because they don't want to play here. He was traded because of for 5 as part of 5 players for to get rid of players by Lamoriello to New York Islanders. Great. He developed in the New York Islanders system. Great. And when he had a good season with what's his face with Tampa, he then signed with Florida for a cheap contract that we could have afforded that year. Great. And he was willing to play anywhere. Do you understand why players don't sign here because of when they're college free agents? Or why would they re-sign? They just saw Steves go. Marchment, he was undrafted too. We traded him. I'm saying the problem is not the players, it's the management and the ownership. They're the ones who do this. They're the ones who go for the wrong players at the wrong time, overpay, overdo whatever. But like my point is, like we're going off topic. See, you always go, like when I'm making a point, you always are argumentative about it instead of letting me talk.
No,
So
you're just
let's
making
say
shit
that.
up, dude. You're just like saying things as if they're facts. Oh, he's willing to sign here. Okay, well,
Okay, yes,
he was
and you
drafted
just- and
here,
dude,
so I don't
dude,
have a problem
was-
with that. But
dude,
like,
dude,
he didn't
dude,
like
can
go
I-
on record and say like, oh, I want to sign with Toronto. Like, we don't. There's that. Nobody
Dude.
ever knows of that happening except for you and saying these guys are willing to sign here. Are you talking to them personally? Because like these aren't things that come out
Okay.
publicly of them
John
saying this
Tavares
stuff.
said Hall would sign here. Why? Because he still talks to him. He went to his fucking wedding. Like, you always freaking tell me, like, I don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know fucking shit. You don't.
Who?
argue
What?
when I say-
Who? What are you saying?
John Tavares!
I'm not
like I
talking
said,
about John Tavares, you asshole. You said he
grew up
would
with
be willing
fucking
to sign
Hall.
here. Who?
Hall.
Taylor Hall.
H-A-L-L.
Okay,
Taylor
when?
Hall.
When? I'm not disagreeing with you, but when? What are you just bringing up
I'm
shit for
saying
no
when we
fucking
were trading
reason?
for Foligno,
When?
I think it was Foligno that stupid trade with Foligno, which I hated because I was like, he's not bringing what we need. We need scoring. And I probably have a Facebook post about it. But like, anyways, the thing is, he went for a second. He was willing to get out of Buffalo, right? We had multiple chances to sign him. We didn't. The year before, he went to Buffalo. He just wanted to up his trade value, but Buffalo was a dog shit that year. He was willing to go to teams that were going to be in the playoffs and that could be contenders. So, like, my point is, I'm not making stuff up. I'm not pretending to know something I don't know. I'm just reading what's in the freaking papers or online I don't go to like, A and B sports page. I don't give a shit. I don't go on fucking Reddit. I don't go on all of those things. But I'm just saying. And if it's like somebody like Chris Johnston or Friedge or whatever, then I trust.
Okay.
So, like, the whole point
I don't
is-
have
my
a
whole
problem
point
with. You don't have a point. You never have a point.
Dude, you don't let me finish. How many times have you interrupted me about something and went off in tangent? I was like talking about Berube briefly. I didn't mean to go into this. This is not what I want to talk about. You argue with me for nothing. You say,
Yo.
where's your point? Where's your point? Dude, can I just say what I'm trying to say? Like, without you getting, how do you have the proof? How do you have the proof? I'm not saying I know everybody. I don't know anyone.
You just said you know all this shit, and then you said you don't know shit that I don't know anything.
I said
you
don't
said
know
you
anyone.
know.
Dude,
You
I
said
don't know
before
these
that
people,
3
but I
minutes
read
ago
it.
that you know.
Dude,
Oh, I know this.
listen
I
to
know
what I
that
just
guy
said.
would have. I would know this. I know that guy would have.
I'm saying
And then you say I don't know anything.
I don't know the hockey players personally. I said I read this. Or saw it on TV. From, like, why are we arguing about something that doesn't matter? This is not
Okay,
why I'm
continue
calling in.
then. What else do you want to... Yes, this is what you're talking about. You're trying to get to
Dude.
your point and taking 30,000 things that you got to say. Go ahead.
Dude,
What is
every
it you
single
want to
point I'm
say?
making, what Berube said in the, like, okay, anyways. Okay, whatever. Let's just go. Fuck. Jesus Christ, Zach. Like, I don't understand. Like,
You don't understand. I don't understand.
dude, explain to me. You'll say Domi played shit. He did that bad pass, but then you'll protect every other player that you like for whatever reason.
Okay, give me an example. How did that happen here tonight?
Did you see him back check and help protect something going from 2-on-1? Rewatch the game, Zach.
Nice. He back checked. The bare minimum. He
No.
back
He
checked.
back checked even on the first one, dude.
Attaboy! Thank you for the back check. Great. Attaboy. Good work on the back check.
You're such an asshole. Like, I'm just trying to make points, and you don't let me discuss anything. You just keep bursting in saying, when did Berube say that? Do you have proof? How do you know? Like, fuck,
Yeah,
man.
because you're just saying nonsense with no factual backing to anything you've got.
Dude,
you just
you don't know
fucking
anything-
spew.
Dude, I'm trying to explain these things. Like, when I said...
You're
Domi
like,
back
oh,
checked
he
today.
back checked. He back
He
checked.
was back
I said,
checking even on the first thing when he was the furthest person away. Was Matthews the first one over the blue line on our end on that first goal? No. After that, McCabe passed to nobody? No. It was fucking Domi. It was like, I'm saying, you act like you know everything and you know everyone. Great, you're in media. Doesn't mean shit. And then you go after people who look at advanced stats. You know who looks at advanced stats? Tampa.
yeah, the guy who
Who's the
traded
first
Nazem
who's the first
Kadri
team
for
in the
fucking
league who
Kerfoot
had
and
a
Barry.
dedicated advanced stats team. Tampa.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm
Johnny
saying
Mehta is the person who brought in Forsling, who went after Seth Jones, who said Marchand.
I'm not saying they're bad.
And then you don't know. Do you know the
I'm
Colorado
not saying they're
Avalanche are
bad.
owned by-
I'm saying
by
there is a difference
hockey
between
analytics
only
team, like
wanting
a
to do
team that owns
one side of
soccer fans
things
in
and
Europe.
not paying attention to any of the other side. You seem to want to.
No, I say look at both. I watch the games. I also, dude, I don't just watch the Leafs, right?
Neither do I.
If I have a personal opinion about a player, it's a personal opinion. But you get you attack me like as if I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying I have an opinion. But I can't have an opinion without you fucking attacking me. If I say something that I saw on the TV, and you can see you what's Berube hockey? I have no fucking clue. Because last year was getting caved in, but we're protecting the net. But we can't our possession went to shit, and you're expecting us to win that way? Nobody wins that way. Nobody can win being outshot 2-1. Why did it take us? If you're a good team, teams like the Senators should not. Maybe they get one game, maybe, but there's no way they go take us to 6. If you're a real hockey team, you don't have to worry about these. The thing is, you can blame whatever, but the thing is, we delay every decision until the last possible moment, and then not do anything about it. Everybody, think about what did Colorado do? Did they go all in every year just because they had McKinnon or Landeskog or Rantanen? No. They made a trade. They traded Duchesne. They traded Duchesne, and they got Girard out of it. They got, I think Makar was that, or was that with Ottawa? Whatever. It was they got a bunch of their players that made them contenders. They never traded in all their chips just to get an old player that doesn't fit their system. All their players, they're a better version of.
Context. The team was really bad early on. That's why they made those trades. It wasn't just because Nathan McKinnon is here. It also took McKinnon a long time to become the player that he is. There was a development period for McKinnon. They had to build up through it. They weren't making the playoffs every single year right away. And I'm not trying to defend the guys here in Toronto. I'm not trying to defend the guys here in Toronto for it, but they didn't just go all in right away. They just recognized early on they had guys. No, look at the first couple of years. They didn't make insane trades early on. They just did recognize, though, that they had a team with some high-end talent and guys who were on entry-level deals who were going to be the leaders of their team, and then tried to take advantage of that. Yes, there were mistakes along the way. I'm not trying to defend that, but you're just bringing up Colorado. They were a much different team than what the Leafs were early on.
Dude. I've given you lots of examples before, not just Colorado, not just the teams. I'm talking about teams that are actual contenders, right? Because I've been saying let's retool because I fired the head coach, for a long time because he has no idea. Look at Rielly's ice time today, 22 minutes. Is that rewarding success, quality? Why is he playing the most of any Leaf? More than OEL, more than McCabe, more than Stetcher. Yes, McCabe has been playing poorly. But the thing is, it's because you're relying on Stetcher, McCabe, and OEL 22 to 24 minutes a night and never giving them a break. Never giving, you have Matt Benning, who's actually an NHL player who's recovered from his injuries, and he's played hundreds of games. You may not think that's in the NHL. He's made $20 million. You may not think. Yes, listen, I'd love to make $20 million and play hundreds of games in the NHL. But to you, that's not a person who's an NHLer. I said that Matthews wanted Domi on his line, and playing Domi at center is a fucking stupid mistake. And the worst seasons Domi's ever had, two of the worst seasons Domi's ever had are on the Leafs, only after Berube. Not in his first season. His worst he still averages over 48 points per game, and that's because of the shit that he went through last year playing center. He played center earlier this year. Why were we switching? The whole point is there's no long-term planning with the team, and I want them to retool. And the problem is, I love Lawton, but the thing is, the trade didn't make sense, short-term or long-term, because...
Disagree.
No. I love what he brings to the room. I want to re-sign him. But why would he ever resign? Okay, you're a hockey player. You're whatever sport.
Yes, we did this conversation. We did this
No.
conversation
Can I
last
just
show.
say this? Because for the people who have maybe not heard, why would he resign? No, I've made that point in the thing. I don't know if I've made this point before. Why would he resign if you're playing him 10 minutes or 12 minutes? And because he got criticized in the media for it, he jumps him up to the second line. Just put him on a third line. That's fine. But then play Quillen more than freaking 6 minutes. And then mix it up, right? And if there's players that need to be sat who do mistakes, regardless if they're rookies or not, do it. Like there was no point to sit what's his face, Michelli, was it 9 games out of 10 or 10 games out of 11 early in the season? He hadn't done anything wrong like that. Nobody. But like if you make mistakes, sit him, even if you lose a player, sit him for like a few shifts. There's no accountability for Rielly. There's no accountability for anybody. Last time I told you that it was a travesty that Matthews didn't go and you told me the PR staff. And I was like, I don't give a shit if it's the PR staff. He's the captain of the team. But who always goes is JT. And Nylander's always trashed in the media. He's always trashed by fans, even this year. They always use it as fucking fodder, but he's the only one who shows up. Rielly was the one who was showing up until two or three seasons ago. But why is it taking 2 or 3 seasons to realize we are playing him inappropriately for his age and his confidence level? You play him less, shelter him, and play, and then give him less minutes so that he's not overtaxed. He can regain some sort of form and confidence, and then we can trade him. And we can. There's been so many big trade people who've been traded who have no move clauses, who have, like their family is from the fucking area, who grew up fans of whatever team they played for. There's multiple ones in the last 2 seasons. So that's just bullshit. That's just an excuse not to do something. And I think I speak for all the Leaf fans, because I took my nephew. I'm dealing with health issues as it is right now. And I'm not working because I have health issues. But the thing is, I had to borrow money, and I took my nephew to the game on Friday.
Why would you do that?
Because I want my nephew to have fun, and it's like the most important game. I thought he'd enjoy it. He loved it. Like in terms of he was exhausted because he had a long day because of sports in school. He woke up at 6 that day.
Come on, Prague. Come on.
But the whole point is,
get to the point.
The whole point is, what they did on Friday was like they shot me in the balls and then spit in my face.
Yeah.
And then did it to my nephew. They did it to all Leaf fans. That's the disdain this whole team, the management, the ownership. It comes from the ownership for us. They only think of us putting Marner jerseys, not even Marner Leaf jerseys, Marner jerseys from Vegas on sale and on display. And then I was not there, so I watched because I didn't see the game from the angle of the fan watching at home. First of all, it's horrible in sports, and I don't even know how it's the worst broadcasted team in hockey. I've watched them all. But like, they just showed nothing but the positivity of Marner. But there were so many fans booing throughout, and those assholes, those rich fucks who stood up because they don't have any skin in the game, and then the rest of us can't afford to fucking go to tickets in our hometown. Like, what the fuck? Like, the narratives they push, those things they push in the media, they're giving us excuses. Oh yeah, the Steve Sullivan thing. It was Newsy Lalonde that was in control of the power play in the beginning, and he's been doing a lot of this stuff. But like the thing is, since the switch over, and that's how even before Steve Sullivan arrived that day, he hadn't even had a practice with the Leafs. So that was Newsy. That was not Berube because he never played power play in his fucking life. But like the thing is, now that we see what's going on, why would you have Berube, who wants to save his job, running the team? Why would you have, if you want the Leafs to make the playoffs, make a fucking shitload of trades, tell Lawton and McMahon, listen, if we get a good enough trade, we would love to sign you long term in the free agency, but We got to do this just to keep to make us competitive going forward, and then trade them, and pray for fucking Lawton comes back because his wife they had their first kid, and she lost her father from Toronto, a year ago October, and that's a big reason that he wants to come back. But like the way we've treated him as in coaching, I'd be looking for other options. He's like. No, but the thing is, the whole point is, we cannot wait any more time. Rest Nyes. Rest OEL. Like, just rest the fuckers until... Because I'd rather come back on fire, get as many picks and prospects as we can. And here's the thing.
That makes no sense. That's counterintuitive. I want to come back on fire. I want to rest these guys. I want to have them ready to go for the final half. I want to go, and then you get as many picks as possible. Yeah, next season, these guys don't think like that. Like this, they're NHL players. They want to play now. They're not going to just
talking about
rest.
The management.
And they
They're
all know
do the picks and prospects.
You can't just get forced as players. You can't just get forced to not play. If you decide, hey, if I'm good to play and I want to play, and the coaching staff and you're medically cleared, but you're just like, okay, yeah, you're banged up. Like, these guys will lose their minds. You can say all you want about it as a fan and wanting to trade guys, and you say this about the no moves and no trades. I understand you can get creative, but like, it's the same conversation. Like, Morgan Rielly said, no, I'm not getting traded. Okay, that's it. Yes, you can obviously put Prague. The whole point is you make things shit inside that room. You're talking about Scott Lawton and why would he want to re-sign here when it's the not getting the minutes and stuff. And now, while I agree with you on that, you can't also say at the same time, hey, here's Morgan Rielly, a guy that we want to trade, and we negotiated, or he negotiated in good faith to have his no move and no trade clause, but we're just going to sit him until he leaves. That makes things terrible in the locker room. That makes guys hate the coaching staff, the management, the organization, all of it. It makes them all turn.
Like,
what?
Dude, do you not realize they already do that? Like,
who?
They're protected like little babies, and also you're acting like we can't. Okay, you're just giving excuses for not doing stuff. I just hear delay. I always hear this from other Leaf fans. And
How is that delay? How is that delay? What am I saying to delay? I also agree with you. It's really frustrating that they've done that. Yes, but Prague, you're talking about running the guy out of town. You're talking about running the guy out of town. Yes, things are working really well for the New Jersey Devils. They're winning a lot of games. You fucking imbecile. They are not. Yeah. Because they fucked up that entire locker room. The whole thing has gone sideways since. They made it very clear we want to go out there and get this guy. We want to acquire the third brother. We want to bring him in. No problem with wanting to bring that guy, but you asked guys to waive their no moves. They didn't want to waive their no moves, and now things are... So you cannot look at another team and be like, look at what they did. They tried to do this, and then at the same time be like, well, they're not planning. They're not doing this. You can't say that. Okay, so why are you using them as an example? You idiot! You can't use them as an example of why would you do this.
You an idiot.
You're saying...
I have not called you an idiot.
You're saying, oh, look at what they're doing with Dougie Hamilton. Yes, that's great. And then they've gone sideways, and then you're being like, well, they're not planning. So why is what they're doing good, but also what they're doing bad? How? Who?
Dude, he's making $7.5 million.
Who? Rielly. Yes.
Quinn Hughes.
What? What are you talking about?
If you think there's a chance, because you see the tire fire last year, right? You see the tire fire last year.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Okay, can I finish?
With who? You don't have a point. You don't have a point. No, you don't have a point. Everything you said for the last 27 minutes is here's my point, here's my point, here's my point, and you said 43 things in there that don't make sense.
Say my point.
No,
can I say that one last line?
No, what?
Vancouver has been a trash heap for a decade. They saw what happened last year.
What are you talking about?
Whoa.
What are you talking about? How are we on Vancouver now?
Okay. New Jersey Devils.
How?
They have two Okay,
Oh my
you
God.
want to bring up the Devils
Prague.
and the brothers. I'm going to
Prague, your call's done.
Can I finish the
Call's
point? Can I
done.
finish the
No,
point?
there's no point. There's no point. There's
Then
never
you're not
a
letting me
point.
finish the point.
You're done.
Vancouver
You're
was
done.
a-
Call's
Vancouver
done.
was
You're
a-
done. You had your time.
Vancouver
You had your time.
was-
I agreed
was
with a
trashy
lot of
for
what
a
you were
year.
saying here tonight.
if
That's
you
no
were
problem.
smart, you would
But the
take-
shit you're
you
saying
would-
here
you would
now, where you're
get
getting
rid of
to,
players so
is
you have
just
that
fucking
7.5 million
outrageous.
to fill
I
in
go, where
with-
are we
with
going?
you.
All right.
Can I-
Thanks for the call. You're done. You're done. You're out. You're out. We're done. I'm not trying to censor or whatever.
You're the
It's just
7.5
there's
million
no
hole.
point.
Last season, Rick Tocchet left. He's a great coach.
Prague.
Look
Prague.
what's happened to
You're
Philly.
done. Prague.
But the
Enjoy
thing
your
is,
night.
what they could have done
Enjoy
is
your
say,
night.
okay,
Prague.
it's a tire
Prague.
fire. They
Prague.
got rid of.
You're done.
They stupid
You're
enough
done.
Kept JT Miller
You're done.
over Horvat, who was
You're
the
done.
captain of the team,
Okay, you're done.
and they.
All right. Let's go to next caller. Prague, you're done. You're done. Get out of here. Okay, next caller. Let's go to Zach G. Zach, what's up?
What
We got
the
you, Zach.
hell is going on right now?
What's up, Zach?
What's going on?
I'm sure you just saw what took place here. I can't deal with that anymore. To be clear, by the way, there's a lot that he said I don't have any issue with. It's like when we get to you run the guy, like the whole point that I'm trying to make with Morgan Rielly is you cannot just treat the guy like shit to get rid of him and be like, we hate your guts, so get out. Because that sends a bad message. He brings up Dougie Hamilton and he's like, look, they're doing it. Like, you can do that. And then it's like, their team is in shambles. They've stunk since that whole situation happened. It's all gone downhill. Same thing happened in New York with the Rangers. You just have to be careful about how you navigate it. You can't say that you look at this other team, look how they did it, you should do that, and then be like, well, disregard the fact that they fell off a cliff. That's all I'm saying. Wanted to clear that up. I agree with a lot of what Prague was saying. But how can we get to a point of like, do what these other teams are doing that have fallen off a cliff? Oh, but just don't worry about them falling off the cliff. Anyways, go ahead, Zach. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I don't know, man. I think the main thing I want to say is we're 5 points back now, playoff spot.
I think 6 maybe.
5 or 6 points. It's like, I think like there is a chance they could still turn it around here and go on a bit of a run and get some luck. But at the end of the day, like if we don't see Willie come back into the lineup and, maybe Joshua comes back too, I mean, we're kind of screwed. Like the year was kind of plagued by injuries. Like, I mean, yeah, they played like shit for the first 25, 30 games, but the injuries piled up, man, and the team kind of went off the fucking rails, and I don't think they're going to be able to put it back on the rails unless they get all these guys back now. Because, like you said, you don't want to really trade anybody. You kind of just want to leave it as is and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I just think you got to just leave this as is. If Brad Shulevin goes out there and makes some type of desperation trade between now and Olympic break, or between now or Olympic break and trade deadline, just to get this thing back on track, I think he's out to lunch. Obviously, getting guys back from injury will get them in a much better spot. But at the same time, it's like, I just think you got to hold on to where you're at, keep this team to see if they can figure this out on their own before the Olympics and then after the Olympics. And if not, that's when you sell pieces off. Obviously, as it is right now, you're in a pretty desperate spot, but like, what is the point of getting rid of guys with 5 games left to the Olympics at this point? If you wanted to sell off early, the sell-off early point was before Christmas, not now. That's when you could have started to move on from pieces and started to kind of say, hey, this is over, but your team went on a run, and if you just go in there and decimate the group, it can absolutely kill guys' interest in being here.
Yeah, I think you just gotta leave it as is and hope that I don't know, man. Hope these guys can get it back on the tracks here, but I don't see it happening. Just the way that the years went, I just think we're kind of shit out of luck, man.
I feel like this team is a little bit shit out of luck here as well, Zach. It's a tough spot to be in. Anything else you got for me here tonight?
Nah, man. Just a great name as usual, man.
Great name, Zach. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Right.
There you go. Zach G on the line. Appreciate that. Final caller here to get to tonight. For those who are just joining or were watching earlier and lost us, obviously make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. Let's now go to our final caller of the night, Cameron McKay. Cameron, what's up?
Hello.
What's up, Cameron?
All right. I don't really know how to follow up these calls that we've had so far. So I wrote down some points while you're on the phone with Prague to kind of keep my mind clear because I felt like I was like in the bedroom watching mom and dad fight. It was crazy. But I mean, like, it's a passionate fan base. I get it, but like the pressure from fans and media, I think, has led to us rushing the era of Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and it's left us with what we have now. Empty cupboards, no prospects, no picks. We've traded everything off. And I think we kind of just have to deal with it at this point, right? Like we have to let this ship ride for the year. And injuries didn't help us at all, obviously. Like I know I'm not saying anything new here, but I think I genuinely think that this team is salvageable. Like if we had Chris Tanev in, like I think we would be looking at a different. I don't know, like getting hemmed in the D zone all the time. Like Chris Tanev is a guy. He's not like, he's not going to put up 50 assists, but he's a guy that can clear the puck. He settles plays. He kills plays, and I just, I think that would be a big help having him right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's nothing crazy. And then I think a positive to take away is there's a little bit of cap space here to work with, especially going into next free agency. It's not a strong free agency class. Like, in my opinion, I think Nick Schmaltz in Utah, if he doesn't re-sign, I think that's a guy you go for.
Yep.
He's not old. I think he's going to be 29 next year. So, like, he kind of fits in this window of competing. And he could also play center, which will move Tavares down to the third line, which I think would fit him a bit better. And I think we need a point shot. Like, it's really frustrating watching teams disrespect the blue line because we have absolutely no offensive threat outside of OEL. And even him, like, there's not like a shot that teams are really respecting that makes them close out on our blue line, which just jams everything out front. Like you made the analogy last night, and as a basketball player, it's so true. If the big man can't shoot threes, it closes down the offense. That's just it. It like Morgan Rielly. Like I'm not. We can harp on him all we want. The guy can't shoot the puck. It kills the power play. I think that's just that. And yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't know what else to say about this team. I think it's funny. I talked to my dad about it. I was talking to him the other night, obviously before this game, and he's like, we got to make moves for Luke Shen, and then if Luke comes, his brother's going to want to come. And it's like, these are the kind of guys. I love my dad, but this is what we're dealing with. And it's like, we can't be bringing in a 36-year-old defenseman right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's no hockey trade to make for this team.
No, there's not. But what I would argue, the only thing I would argue is I don't mind bringing in a Luke Shen if he's going to be a piece that's just like your 6th, 7th defenseman because it pushes Phil Myers out. It's a guy that has chemistry with Morgan Rielly, and if you can't move Morgan Rielly, which it seems like they can't right now, then I don't have an issue with that. Like, moving a guy with a no trade clause is basically impossible to get yourself get yourself out of during a season. It's something you can creatively try to find a way to move on from in the summer. No issue there. But as it stands right now, like, it's going to be really, really hard, and he doesn't want to move. So I don't know. I just look at the Luke Shen one and think that it's a fine piece to have, who's a guy who can just play. I know Super Scout Prague, who's losing his mind in the chat right now, saying he's not even an eighth defenseman because he can't fucking tell when he watches hockey what he's seeing outside of just staring at Berube's cut on his dome. That's the only thing that he's attracted to, trying to figure things out from his doctorate side of hockey. But my point is not that Shen is the savior. It's that he's a guy that he can play with Morgan Rielly to just be a piece to play alongside of him and get you through, if you think that you are going to be competitive. If not, 0 point getting Luke Shen, because he also wants to go on somewhere that can, he wants to go on to a team that can win. So that's the other problem with it. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like, I completely agree. It's like a grass is green kind of take at this point, because it's like anyone with a brain kind of sees what's happening here. Like, you can't force Rielly to move. That's the problem with Dubas signing these guys, giving them the keys to all this money and these no movement clause. We're stuck with it now, and we're dealing with it.
Yeah.
And
they were negotiated in good faith. That's the problem. Like,
yeah.
We can be mad about them, but like, the player asked for them and the GM gave it to him. You can't be mad at the player for getting those. You can be mad at the GM for giving them. I have no problem with that. But like, if the player doesn't want to move, the player doesn't want to move. That's the problem you end up with. Like,
yeah.
That's where I say too, Cameron, like, again, I said this point numerous times, I'll just reiterate it, but you have to be careful about how you handle these players with no moves, because if you just treat them poorly to get rid of them, it sends a message to other players around the league. Like, everyone else sees how you treated a guy and goes, why would I want to go there? Like, why would I want to go play for that team who, if I get a no move clause, they're just going to disregard it and they're going to treat me like shit to get me out? Why would I want to go play for that team? That's where you have to be careful. Like, the Rangers are dealing with shit like that right now. So it's a sketchy thing to have to deal with. That's the only thing that I want to point out to people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, I completely agree. You like, I've like, you've played sports. I've played sports my whole life. The best teams I've ever been on were the teams that had good locker rooms. That was it. Like, provincial competing level basketball teams, and we weren't necessarily the most skilled, but we competed night in, out, and it was just a locker room thing. We all bought in. And I completely agree that, like, you look at the Rangers, toxic, obviously. There's something in that room. Boston last year with, like, these, like, rumors of Marchand and Pasternak not getting along, stuff like that. That killed their season. You look at, I mean, unfortunate Ottawa situation. I don't really want to harp on that, but toxic. And then it just kills a team. The Dougie Hamilton in New Jersey, that stuff kills a team. And anyone that's played competitive sport and anyone that's been on a team sport knows, like you can't kill the chemistry and the energy in a locker room, or the whole team's cooked. So, like,
yeah.
And that just leaves us with the point of, what do you do at Morgan Rielly? I'm going to admit, like, up until this year, I was a Morgan Rielly and Max Domi defender. I was like, they're using them wrong. They need to be here. It's wrong. The coaches are doing them wrong. At this point, they've played everywhere. There's just nothing you can do. Like, do you shelter Rielly? You put him on the third pairing with who? And it's like, I think we're just stuck with it. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in a circle here. I don't mean to prog you, but like,
no.
Like,
it's a good point.
Yeah, like, I just, and because I thought they brought in Carlo. Here we go. That frees up Rielly. He's, more available to take the puck. You know what I mean? And then It doesn't help. Like, because I was always like, we brought in Lyubushkin. Like, great. That did not help. Mm-hmm. So I was like, we brought in Carlo. We brought in Tanev. And he's not gotten better. He's gotten worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know where you go from here. I think you let it play out. There's no hockey trades. You're not bringing anyone in. I don't know if you can hemorrhage any more assets and prospects. And I'll go back to another point that's been talked about. I think Jacob Quillen needs to play. And
Yes, he does.
yeah, like, I don't know. It's been a long night, obviously, for you. So, like, I don't got anything new to say. I think, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think he's got to play more. It's really frustrating. The Rielly thing, it just gets to a point where it's like, you bring in all these guys and we all say, this isn't the partner for him. This isn't the partner for him. At what point is it just, it's him. He's the problem. I think that's where we're at right now. It's just unfortunate. He's got a no move. If he doesn't want to move, you can't move the guy. Like, he's got a no move. He can just say no. Okay, sure. Like, go ahead. It's to your point. Go ahead. Sit the guy. Sit the guy every game. Okay. Now he agrees to be moved. That's great. What happens to your locker room? I know that we need a culture change, but if that's the case, just rebuild. Like, it's not a retool anymore. It's a rebuild. And that would entail trade Nylander, trade Matthews, trade Rielly, trade goaltenders, trade defense, trade them all. Start again, because you're not going to be able to just do this again and have Morgan Rielly go and bring back new pieces and keep the other guys here who have been a part of this and been around it and see it. Like, if the culture change needs to go that deep, which I'm not saying that it doesn't, but if it needs to go that deep, then you just have to move on from all these guys. But it's like, you can't just move on from the guy, treat him like shit until he says, okay, finally, I'll leave and we're out of here. But then it hurts everything in the room. And if you want to hurt everything in the room, you need to just start again. And like, that's where it's the balance for me, is that we have to realize here, like, you can't just say we're going to get rid of all these guys with no plan. You can't just say we're going to force Morgan Rielly out. You need to think about what this future is. If you're going to force the guy out and you're going to sit him every night until he leaves, you're just rebuilding. You're just starting again. Yeah. And if that's the case, then it's also looking above them. It's not Berube who's the guy here. It's not Brad Treliving who's the guy here. And they don't deserve to be if you're going to go into a new direction. They shouldn't be the pieces or the people who are going to put the right pieces in place. Really frustrating, Cameron. It sucks right now.
Like I said, I don't want to talk in circles here. And I only, like, there's only so many things. Like, I listen. There's only so many times you can go over the same things with this team, right? I will say, like, on a somewhat positive outlook, like, the window's not closed. Like, this is not the end-all be-all this year, in my opinion. It's rough, and we've kind of been blessed with good regular season hockey for a couple of years. This is another thing. I'm sorry. The term retool right now makes me want to put my fist through my monitor, because we just don't have anything to retool with, right? So, like, I'll leave that there, but, like, Matthews isn't 30 yet. Nylander's not 30. And even on 31, 32, like, these guys are still going to be playing top-level hockey. It's not over. Like, I really genuinely believe that we can win around Matthews and Nylander. Mm-hmm. But I'm not completely married to the point of just staying with them for the sake of staying with them, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, one
bad regular season with a lot of injuries isn't the end of this era. I guess I'll leave it at that.
I think that's fair, and I think that the example in Boston is probably a good one to look at. Like, they didn't have to move on from Pasternak. They didn't have to move on from Charlie McAvoy. They didn't have to move on from Jeremy Swayman. But it's just making sure you take the right approach to it, as you kind of pointed out. Okay, Brad Marchand needed to go. He went to a contender. The team needed to sell off pieces. They got rid of Brandon Carlo, which we ended up picking up. But, like, they got picks back. They got young guys back. Changed the direction. They kept David Pasternak, they kept McAvoy, and then they build around those guys. It is possible. It just needs to be done carefully. And that's why I think, like, having the right approach, having the right attack to this, trading the right guys at the right time, it's not going to be easy to do. But if that's where you want to head, I got no problem with that. But let's just make sure you're methodical about this as you go forward, because just being brash and just saying, fuck it, get Morgan Rielly out of here because we don't want him here anymore, can ruin things going forward. Maybe that sours Matthews and Nylander. And guess what? You need stars to win. Ask the Carolina Hurricanes. They've got an unbelievable team, no stars. They can't win. The teams that win have superstars, but then they build great teams around them. You just need to make sure that those guys are in the right spot, or your plan is to then find a way to get new superstars and build your team for the right spot going forward. It's just, you need to be methodical about how you go forward with it. But to your point, Cameron, I have no problem with being methodical and retooling this thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're just agreeing. So I think I'll just leave it there. Like, I feel like I got lobotomized with a certain call. So like I had points and I literally just like completely blanked. So like,
sorry,
yeah, man, like, no, I mean, it was entertaining. It was great TV, but like, I'll leave it at this. There is a little speck of light at the end of the tunnel outside of this year. But I've been a Leafs fan for a long time, so I'm ready to be let down. I'm used to it. We're all used to it. So,
yeah.
And we're all gonna do it again after they lose again, and we'll keep talking about it. So, I guess that's that.
All right, Cameron.
Yep.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it, and hopefully we get to have you call back soon.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
There you go. There's Cameron. Let's get to our final stuff here of the show. To break this one down, let's go to Crave the Stats. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. Every time the Leafs are playing at home, you can get these exclusive deals in Toronto only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, the BOGO Brisket Hat Trick, Kibo Sushi, the BOGO California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, the BOGO Traditional Wrap. BOGO, of course, is buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. All right, let's now rip through some of the box scores and see what we have for tonight's game. Auston Matthews, 7 shots on goal, -1 in this one. Bobby McMann, -3. JT, -3. Scott Lawton, -2. Cowan, Domi, Nyes, Michelli. Matthews was in there. Robertson, Waugh, all -1 on the defensive side. Brandon Carlo and Morgan Rielly even. Troy Stetcher, -2. OEL, -3. McCabe and Benoit, -1s. Your minute leader for the defensive side, Morgan Rielly, at 22 minutes for this one tonight. Let's get out of here with our final couple of things. Let's go to our play of the game. Play of the game for me. I want to see what you guys here say as well. I don't know. What is my play of the game? I don't know. Play of the game is Jacob Quillen 2-0 on defensive zone draws. Or winning the first two. Nelson's second goal. I don't know. I don't really have any. Domi goal? Sure, man. Okay. With that, let's get to our final thing. Let's go to our grades of the game. Failure, F. Nothing about it. This is a fail. This is just a full fail all the way around. It's a fail. I play the game, yeah, when a clock hits 0. Good point, Jay Castro. Failure for me tonight. That's the only way that I could look at this one. And with that, let's get to let's wrap this thing up. Thanks to everybody who watched, liked, commented, subscribed, all of that. I appreciate you guys for joining us. Sorry about the internet dropping and having to start again there. Frustrating to say the least, but we got out of it. We got it back. We got a second stream up and we got running. So thank you to everybody who did like, subscribe, and jump over. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys back here on Tuesday for pregame and a postgame Leaf Nation After Dark. I think Rosie's calling out on that one, but until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, postgame live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And